All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd also like to give double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. And I would like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, to the hopeful elect in 1/3, and Adon Ratazah. This lesson will be edifying as well as exhorting to the sincere sheep of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bahashem Rakak Kodash. And Tawadi Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bahashem Rakak Kodash for giving me the inspiration to do this lesson. And as the title reads, The Bad Business of Babylon. Okay, and I just want to go into a few precepts. I got more than a few, but we're gonna see how far we go into it. But I had asked Chat GPT, okay, a few. I'll show you it, but pretty much I just want to go into to show you the compare and contrast of the wicked, evil practices that Babylon has made misfortunes and fortunes off of the laborers, the hired laborers, Jake. Okay, and ultimately he's going to be judged for that. As well as us, how we conduct ourselves. We are an example to the world how the kingdom ultimately is going to be ran. And if you don't realize, brothers, we carry and conduct ourselves as a business as well, but we carry ourselves in the business of the Father, which is the Father's business. And Esau, Edom, he uses traits of the Bible, but he uses it in a malicious way. All right. So what we're gonna do here is let me check the audio. All right. So what I want to do is I want to show you real quick. One of the nights, I was watching this movie called The Shooter. Okay, which this movie, it really gives you insight to how the Babylonian government works. Okay, which the scriptures speak about. We're waiting on the Lord to give us a profitable leader. Okay, in due time, the Lord will set up a profitable leader. So you are witnessing, a evil leader. Okay, evil rulership. Okay, now real quick, let's go to Sirach 13. So when you go into Sirach 13, let me see where it's at. The scriptures speak about. Let's actually go like this. It just came to mind. Forgive me, but in due season, the Lord will set up a profitable. That's what the world needs, a profitable leader. The only problem is the world is not accepting the fact that the profitable leaders that will be set up in due season, I was in the right chapter, that will be set up in due season, all right, are so-called black and brown men. But we're not just black and brown, we are Israelites. This is Sirach 10:4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. This is why Daniel 4:17 comes to mind. That the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. So what we are witnessing right now is the fruit of wickedness and power, the fruit of wickedness, how they conduct business. Okay, when you look at the aspect of business in Babylon, it's evil. Okay, it can be evil, it can be treacherous. It's not brotherly. Okay, so you have to understand that even Esau is in a box here in Babylon when it comes to his business, when it comes to how he conducts himself, when it comes to policies, when it comes to even you being an employee, him being your boss. They have laws that they have to abide by, but because of your ignorance and you are unaware of that, this is why he's able to trample all over you. But now with us in the age of information, everything that he has done to be in the position he is now, he's done it by fraud. He's done it by deceit. Okay. But he covers it with the title of just business. Okay. And it says, and in due time, he will set over it one that is profitable. So we're waiting for the business of Babylon to crash and burn. And then the Father's business will ultimately turn the earth right side up. So you have to understand that we are businessmen, we conduct ourselves according to the Father's business. This is why order, having a form of punctuality when you're going to camp. It's the same way in the business world. Esau conducts himself as businessmen. His legalities, his laws, how he does it is evil. His taxes, his interest, things of that nature. And I'm actually going to go into that and show you. But the point that I want to say real quick for the brothers out there is you being in a camp, you understanding this is a government that's being established, and we have to conduct ourselves as so. And it's a process. It's a trial, mistake. But this is why the Lord gives us, mercy, grace, because you don't have those aspects when you go out into the world with Esau. Esau will apply Matthew's 15 and 18, but he skips vital points. Let me show you real quick. So let's show this before I even get into this lesson, just because it's on my spirit. I'll show you just an example that I'm sure we've all experienced when it comes to the bad business of Babylon. Matthew's 15 and Matthew's 18 and 15. Jeez, long day in Babylon, but that's what it does. Okay, Matthew's 18 and 15. So Yahushua already gave us the formula of what we're to do if there is a schism between two brothers, right? So the first thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go to him. Matthew's 18 and 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between him and thee alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But in the business of Babylon, they won't go to you. They won't go to you privately. Okay, they'll write notes on you. They'll document it. They'll have policies that you don't even know that are in play. Think about people that have signed the last thing you want to do is sign a contract with Esau. Now I get it, you have to, but you better make sure that you're proofreading it. Shit, you better even use ChatGPT, screenshot it, and have ChatGPT look it over, because if you just sign something that Esau gives you, you're signing your life away. Okay, so you have to understand that you cannot be ignorant to Satan's devices. And one of the devices in Babylon is his business. Okay, so Esau won't do this. If something happens at a job, all right, what will he do? He's going to bring you into the meeting. He'll immediately skip this. He won't tell you made a trespass. They'll bring you into the office. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more that in the mouth of two or three witnesses, every word may be established. So he'll take you in the office, he'll bring HR in there, and then you're sitting there like, damn, what did I do? And then they'll pull out this, they'll pull out that. This could be a lawsuit. This could be this precept that Esau may apply while skipping verse 15. This could be in a courtroom. This could be police. This could be the landlord. When you look at things, there's a lot of business that Esau portrays that you see in the Bible, but he skips vital steps that one would apply for empathy, mercy. This is why when it comes to judging, we take things into consideration instead of just giving out harsh judgment, unlike Babylon. See the difference between the Father's business and the business of Babylon? It's completely different. Now that I said that, I just wanted to make that quick point because I really don't want to make this too long. So I was watching the movie Shooter. Now, this movie Shooter gives you a descriptive picture of how the Babylonian government laws, legalities work, and they work through wickedness. They hide by the color of law. They hide behind business. They hide behind policies, and it's completely wicked and unethical, and it will be judged. But I want to show you a quote that was stated in the end of the movie, because the movie was the government using a veteran and then him being drunk off the wine through the image of patriotism. They used that against him and got him to basically, they framed him for an attempt assassination on the president. Okay, that's what the government did to one of their own, which we're not surprised. I mean, that's a whole lesson within itself. But I want to show you what an attorney general in the movie stated. Okay, this is what the real Babylon government is about. All right, so look, it says it is spoken by Attorney General Rousseau during a scene where he's discussing justice and the limitations of law enforcement, particularly in contrast to the idea of vigilante justice, often depicted in Westerns. See, meaning you can't take justice into your own hands here in America, okay? Which we don't either, okay? But the way that Babylon conducts himself, it makes people crash out. It makes people carnal. It makes people want to do things that they normally wouldn't do because of the wicked business practices of the rich men that have established this company that the poor uneducated call a country that you so proudly represent, known as America. But in the Bible, it's the virgin daughter Babylon the Great. Let us learn you something about this so-called country that you take pride in because you're not in trouble as other men. So you think and believe that the justice and the Lady of Liberty is on your side. Well, you just haven't been in her courtroom yet. Okay. It says, look, for the record, I don't like the way this turned out any more than you do, but this is the world we live in. You need to understand that the world that you are in Babylon is the valley of the shadow of death. Death in the courtroom, death in the government, death in legislation, death in judicial, death in the executive branch. All forms of justice in Babylon has also forms of corruption that the scriptures rebuke. And I'm going to get into it. I'm just building a case right now. And I just want to say, moving forward for you brothers out there, you have to conduct yourself very professionally out here in this world of Babylon. This is how he gets Jake. Esau gets Jake by portraying himself to be professional while you portray yourself to be wild, ignorant, unknowing. You need to learn how to conduct yourself in Babylon. Okay. If you got issues at your job, you need to look up the labor rights in your state and understand that there are certain things that legally you don't have to go through. Okay. You don't have to go through certain things all the time. You don't always have to just suffer under the curses when Esau Edom is in a pit himself. Okay. You are a Roman citizen. I'm not telling you go out and look for ways to sue people, but even like Elder Pastor Har said, if we got to call the cops on a Christian bothering us on a public sidewalk while we're exercising our amendment rights, and if a law enforcement public servant comes up and doesn't do his job, we do have the right to get his name and badge number to follow the proper means of litigation. Not saying we're looking to do that. Not saying that that's the MO at the end of the day, but it doesn't hurt for you to have the mindset to know, wait a minute, you got laws you got to live by too. Because see, this place sets people up to constantly point the finger. Okay. Everybody here, like, meaning he can't just call you a nigger. Okay. So when you are in moments of Babylon and there is things done illegally, well, hey, they can get in trouble for that. Okay, so don't always just let the curses make you think that you just still got to be 16, 19. Okay, document everything, write everything down. All right, otherwise they will get you off your ignorance. I'm just saying. That's all I'm just saying. Okay, and it says, but this is the world we live in. Yeah, that's because the world's upside down right now. That's because the world has been given into the hands of the wicked. Okay, that's why this Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? But before you go into the courtroom, it says, in God we trust. While you're walking down the street, police say, protect and serve. So there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of fronts that Esau hides behind. But then when you dig deep enough, you find out it's not true. So don't let Hollywood depict your mind on how Esau is supposed to treat you. Okay, you need to have a proper prayer packet. Okay, you need to have the name of Yahweh Shemel Shai constantly on your spiritual mind, and having the wisdom to know that you can use this world without abusing it. Okay, we have the ultimate lawyer. All right, being Yahweh Shai, our high priest, through the priest of the Melchizedek, and him being our high priest, he's also and for the word priest is lawyer, so that we have a lawyer. Okay, now we're not out here looking for lawsuits or illegitimate gains, but the point is, if Esau is trying to conduct business around you, don't be ignorant to it. All right, don't be afraid of his threats. That's how he wins. Okay, but let's keep going in this bad business of Babylon. This isn't a lesson to give you litigation advice, but it says, or to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. Now from there, I'm going to go back to this quote, but now from there, check this out. So I looked up, I said, show me biblical rebukes on modern business practices that are against the scriptures and examples of those bad business practices that are accepted today. ChatGPT said, absolutely. Below is a structured guide showing biblical rebukes on certain modern business practices that are widely accepted and or normalized today, yet go against scriptural teaching. See? This is why it says the earth languisheth. Okay, let me go to that real quick. This is why it says the earth is languished, because you've done away with the laws, man. All right, Isaiah 24 and 5. All right, Isaiah 24:5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the law. So we have laws to live by, but Esau's crooked. He can't take the covenant and apply them. See, it says, changed the ordinances and broken the everlasting covenant. You see that? So the inhabitants of the earth have transgressed the laws, hence why the earth is defiled. Bad business of Babylon. Okay, so you're getting spiritually sued right now. Okay, we're bringing a case upon you. Now look at this. Underpaying or exploiting workers. Underpaying or exploiting workers. All right, look at this. What does it say? James 5. Let me get this other scripture for you too. Actually, in the law, that's going to you're actually supposed to be paid the same day. You're actually supposed to be paid the same day according to the Bible. Let me show you that real quick. So one of the aspects, they said underpaying or exploiting. Look at minimum wage jobs that don't meet the cost of living. Did you know in 2025, let's do this. See, I really don't want to make this too long. Let me see. Is there any apartment in America that any two-bedroom? Look at this. Any two-bedroom, two-bed, okay, two-bedroom apartment in America that you can afford. Let's put on minimum wage. My spelling, sorry. Let's see what they say. Look at it. No. Did you see that? Are you watching this with me? No. You see that? No. In a vast majority of locations across Babylon, a full-time worker earning minimum wage cannot afford a two-bedroom apartment. So he has the nerve. He has the gall. Now, let me show you the law, matter of fact. He has the gall, okay, to put all these burdens on you, these requirements, but then he doesn't even pay you enough so you can afford housing to rest, to go back to work. Look, Deuteronomy 24:15. Let's try it. Look, NKJV. Each day you shall give him his wages, and not let the sun go down on it, for he is poor and has set his heart on it, lest he cry out against you to the Lord and it be sin to you. This is what Esau does to us. Esau oppresses and hired. Look, thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy stranger that is in thy land within thy gates. You see that? But then when you go into this, a common business practice of Babylon is to underpay you or exploit you by minimum wage. You never hear maximum wage, but you know what you will hear? You'll hear salary, which salary go back to the Roman Empire, meaning I'm worth my salt, because they used to get paid in salt. So here it is. He'll give you minimum wage, but he will never give you maximum wage. And then the minimum wage he gives you, depending on the state, it won't even meet the cost of living in that state. And then we proved it. So they're aware of high rental costs. They're aware of the money that they're giving you. You can't afford to live comfortably off that. Starting, i.e. with Jake. And that's the curses. Now, I'm going to keep James 5 up, because James 5 is going to be pretty much the synopsis of this lesson. So I want to continue, but we'll still make points on it. I got James 5, but as you see, I got a lot of precepts I want to go into as well. Look, gig economy workers denied benefits or security. Union busting, outscoring labor to countries with sweatshop conditions. This is business practices that are accepted here in Babylon. And Esau Edom is he is capitalizing off of wickedness. Okay, this man has turned our curses into currency. And you need to understand that. Look, Yahweh hears the cries of workers who are exploited. Injustice in labor is not only a social issue, it is a spiritual offense. And let me show you, what did Yahweh Bashem Yahushai do when we cried unto him for the labor that those wicked Hamites did unto us? Exodus 23 and Exodus 2 and 23. Exodus 2 y 23. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by the reason of bondage. How many times y'all sigh? You know, all of us got jobs. Some of us might even have degrading jobs, you know, but we're all here in captivity, but he claims that you're free. And they cried, and their cry came up unto Yahweh by reason of bondage, by reason of work. Let's see if this word bondage is interchangeable. Bondage, look, slavery, plantation, difficult labor. When you go on Craigslist, it's literally called general labor, and you work your ass off. My whole life, I've been nothing but a hard-working black back for middle class aged white men with their business and jobs. I've literally ran other men's business, and they paid me crumbs while doing it. And that's why, hey, brothers, you brothers out there, man, hey, if it's on your spirit, you can use ChatGPT to help you create a business, man. Okay, I've created things off ChatGPT to make revenue. Now, it hasn't come in yet, but my point is, my mind isn't just burrowed down in slavery anymore. Okay, you have to show yourself as men and even as businessmen, but with an ethical approach. Now, we're waiting to leave, but we ain't left yet. So while you're here, hey, gain if one can. Okay, but we do it in an ethical manner. We do it with morals. We do it legally. Okay, but they do it illegally. But you got to know it. You got to know it, though. You got to learn their jargon. Excuse me. This is actually micromanagement and harassment by OSHA's laws. I am supposed to have a safe, adequate place to punch my clock in. You know, because I had a boss who's getting on me, not for my work, not for how good a job I do, but just my I might be 3 minutes past my clock in, 4 minutes past, 5 minutes past, and things happen. I'm a punctual man, but I can't control everything. I want to be here on time, so I had to flip it on Jake. Hey, first of all, blah, 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 and guess what? His eyes got wide, and he relax, bro. I'm here to do my job. Okay, I didn't crash out. I spoke professional. Okay, but this is the things you have to understand, brothers. They're in a box. Okay, and that box is business, and within business they got laws, litigations, and policies they have to live by too. It would behoove you, if you have a situation of the job that you're in, first of all, if it's an issue, you should be looking for another job. You should beef up your resume. These are things you should be doing right now while you're in Babylon. And then while you're in Babylon and there's illegitimate work practices taking place, you should document those things. You need to have yourself a good source of income or an exit plan with a resume already being sent out to other people. They call it networking. These are things you have to do, okay, righteously, to stay afloat in Babylon. If you just want to sit around and sulk, get drunk, do nothing, and boo-hoo, then that's exactly where you're going to stay, okay? It's time for us to stop feeling sorry for ourselves, okay? We're Israelites, man, all right? We're Israelites. We serve Yahweh Shem Shai first, but we've been given access to certain things as well. Okay. AI will make you look like a CEO, man. And what does CEO mean? Chief Officer. Was it Chief? Oh yeah, CEO, Chief Executive Officer. See, you got to learn that lingo. I'm not telling you to be worldly. I'm not telling you to go into the Black Law Dictionary. Our elders already told us about it's pointless. But if you're going to venture out into the world of Babylon in the aspect of business, be prepared for them to try to use jargon and babble to lord over you. Okay, so be aware, or as they say in Lion King, be prepared. Anyways, so that word bondage means slavery or work. So the Lord heard our groans and our bondage or our minimum wage, just like now, are underpaying the wicked hours. Who the fuck wants to work 2 to 10 every single day, Monday through Friday? You know, crack of dawn, they don't consider. There's a lot of wickedness that they do that the scriptures rebuke, and the Lord going to get them. And one thing I've learned about the business of Babylon, I see why the Lord was rebuking Jake for what he was doing to his hired laborers. And now we use that for Jake and we use it for Esau. So they both wicked. Both those niggas got bad business, man. You know? And it says, verse 24, and Yahweh heard their groaning, and Yahweh remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And Yahweh looked upon the children of Israel, and Yahweh had respect unto them. See? So we got a God. We got a power. We got a savior. So even though we're going through this wickedness and these curses, they're going to get judged for it. Trust me. They're going to get judged for it. Let's continue. Dishonest advertising, manipulative marketing, or like false advertisement. See, manipulative marketing, false advertisement. All right, look, hidden fees or bait and switch. How many times have you brothers subscribed to something and then you randomly it's making you pay more money? Or, like I had to ask, is this just $20 or is there this fee? Like when it says health in a good estate is above gold. So now you go to Gold's Gym to buy a membership, and then all of a sudden they're taking $150 out when they told you it was only $27 this month. You wicked ass nigga, you liar. You see? What's that? The scripture say the Lord hates lying lips. Let me get the liar. You liar. I'm not a liar like you. This is Proverbs 6:16. There be 6 things does the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look. That's exactly what business pushes. A proud look. Shave your beard. Suit and tie. But that nigga's wicked, and he don't even know what they doing. Esau's one of the biggest fake it till you make it people. Trust me, the business world of Babylon is not what you think, okay? All you got to do is have a proposal, have the right words, and an email, and you're in there. Do not let these people think that they're on one. Look, a lying tongue. See? That's bad business. A lying tongue. Predatory free trial. Greenwashing, faking eco-friendly credentials. Look at all this. This is all against the scriptures. Faking eco-friendly credentials. It also says remove not a landmark. Let me put that. Remove not a ancient landmark. But it'll do that in the name of eco-friendly, in the name of Earth Day. Okay? Let me see. Where is it? I just need a precept, dude. This is Proverbs 22 and 28 in the KJV. Remove not an ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. Now, how many landmarks have they painted over? How many Gadite, sites did they this over? Did they that over? That's their business. That's their goal. That's their plan. Like, let's even just do something. Let's do this. Let's just try something. This lesson going to turn longer than it needs to. There's just a lot of information. There's a lot of information I feel is very vital. It's edifying. Which famous business was established over a let's try it, Native let's try Native American. Let's try a Native American community. Let's see what they got. Remember the Trail of Tears? Many well-known American cities and the businesses within them were built on land previously inhabited by Native American communities. One notable example is the city of Seattle, Washington. Seattle's namesake, Chief Seattle, was a leader of the Duwamish and Squamish tribe. See? You see that right there? And that's Habakkuk. Woe to you that establish a city by blood. Let me get that. Look at these precepts. Habakkuk 2 and 12. See? Even Esau. See, it ain't just being Esau being racist. Did you use these precepts? Okay, it's even his business. Habakkuk 2 and 12. Woe to them that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. There you go. So the Bible rebukes that. The Bible rebukes his dishonest advertising. The Bible rebukes his manipulative marketing. The Bible rebukes his what was it that was found illegal? What the hell was it called? Subliminal messaging, I think. Like they would have whisperers say you were walking through Ames back in the day. They would have words whispering under the music to get you to buy stuff, God detests business dealings rooted in deception, transparency, and fairness are non-negotiable in the Bible. Look, greed and obsession with profit. Okay, look, Luke 16 and 13. NIV, you cannot serve both Yahweh and money, but he'll use who you call God to make money. All right. Matter of fact, let me get some precepts on that. This is Amos 9:6. Amos 9:8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power are upon the sinful kingdom. First referring to Jake, all right, Israel, now referring to Esau. Okay. It says, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will utterly not destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. See? So Esau, Edom, okay? Esau, Edom, all right, is the sinful kingdom. Okay? He's the sinful kingdom. Now let me see if there's another one I want. Let me see. Just give me a second. There's something that came to my mind. I got Amos 9:8. What was it? Let's go to Habakkuk. Habakkuk 1:4. It says, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment does never go forth, for the wicked does compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Okay. Let me see. Let me put defraud laborer. Defraud laborer, which is all of us. We're all laborers out here, man. Laborer, KJV. Ooh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, that's okay. I'm going to go to James. That's why. Look at this. Ecclesiastes 34:22. Ecclesiasticus 34 y 22. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him. So them firing you, you be through. You don't know what to do. That's what they do. I got fired before, man. You better use that unemployment. You got to know how to use this system, brothers. While this system is still standing, you would be a fool not to be using what certain rights you are allowed to have. Okay? Stop just thinking with that cursed mindset. Okay? Yeah, according to the curses, he could call us a nigger. He can't legally call you a nigger today. Yeah, according to the curses, you shall build in another lay-in. But now there's laws where they're protecting what the hell they called squatters. I'm not telling you to go squat in one's home. I'm just saying if you are in a certain situation that could fall under a legal situation, that there are rights that you have, you would be a fool not to take advantage of them. Just like our elders tell us, hey, if you can apply for SNAP, free this, free that, why would you not utilize it? Okay, he is in a box. Stop letting him having the step ahead when it comes to just the jargon of the business of Babel take you out of the game. I'm telling you, use ChatGPT, man. That shit will confound this. I'm using it right now. You know, like I said, I'll say this for the brothers out there. I'm gonna just say, anything that you're involved in, like look at your house. Okay, if you're spending this much amount of money for this house, then you should be making that much of money from that house. See what I'm saying? Like, get out of this slave, downtrodden, I just got to go to him for the want of all things. We don't got to go to him for the want of all things no more, man. We don't have to. We're Israelite men. This is why the Lord called us the head, okay? Because we can take charge righteously in a business sense. And we're waiting to leave. I want to get out of here. But now imagine how we're going to govern the world. If we could do this here in captivity, now imagine under the new covenant. That's beautiful. Ecclesiastes 34:22. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the labor of his hire is a bloodshedder. So you got rights. You get fired. You don't just got to say that's because of the curses. You potentially could have money left from a 401k that he's been taken from you. You potentially could apply and be accepted into unemployment and get a check until you get a new job while you're praying and showing your due diligence. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at here? Okay? It's time for us to stop allowing the bad business of Babylon to keep us downtrodden. Look, 1 Timothy 6:10, NIV. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. See, and they love it. They love it so much that you had certain elite families kill themselves because they didn't want to lose their millions of dollars. Look what they got. Modern accepted practices. Even though the Bible rebukes this, even though you don't even hear any Christians speaking about this, Profit first culture, even at the cost of human life. Denying healthcare, unsafe working conditions. See, brothers, if you are at a job and you are in unsafe working conditions, you need to send your prayers up, use ChatGPT, and ask what qualifies as unsafe working conditions in Louisiana, whatever state you're in. It's well, this, and this, and all that, and then, hey, you don't got to stay in that condition, okay? You don't got to stay. You don't got to silently suffer, man, okay? You don't got to silently suffer. Stop letting these corporate business demons lord over you, okay? Because Esau will get away with whatever you let him. No one's telling you to be carnal. No one's telling you to look for a problem. All I'm saying is through wisdom, you can be defended. Don't it say wisdom is better than weapons of war? What is that? Ecclesiastes 9, I think. Let me go to that. It's just about having wisdom, man. I didn't even think I was going to go into this angle with this lesson, but the Wadiyah Bashemal Shai, Bashemal Kakodas, Ecclesiastes 9 and 18. Wisdom is better than weapons of war. You don't got to yell. You don't got to scream, okay? Esau don't. Look at how they operate in business, and they got to abide by business. But one sinner destroyed much good. This is why people create unions, because they're in terrible conditions. This is why there are people doing strikes right now. Okay, you had the port strikes. You got in Philadelphia. They're doing strikes. Now, let me go back to this. I'm going to show you something. Let me show you greed and obsession with profit with corporate America right here, denying healthcare. Did not the big, beautiful bill just cut people off from healthcare? Let's ask. Did the big, beautiful, look, see, did it affect housing? Let's see. Yes. So the big, beautiful bill affected housing, but wait a minute. You're not supposed to exploit people in housing. I just want to see planned. Okay. I think it's another one. I could easily ask it, but right here, look, let's try healthcare. Let's change look. Did it affect healthcare? Let's see what it says, which I'm sure we could find many different examples outside of. Look, yes. Okay. Yes. This is exactly the lesson we're talking about. Woe to the rich men. Okay. It affects the healthcare. That's evil. That's wicked. Okay. Unsafe work. You don't have to be in unsafe working conditions no more, man. All right. Stop doing that to yourself. Corporate models driven by quarterly profits, blah, blah, blah. Millionaires accumulating wealth while workers live in poverty. Yeah. Jeff Bezos, the rich man, which they ain't even the richest of men, but according to Babylon, they will be rich men. When money becomes the master, Yahweh is no longer the priority. Wealth gained at the expense of others is condemned. See, this is the business of Babylon that you brothers and sisters are living in. Okay, but it's illegal too, though. All right, so I'm just saying, just be aware of your surroundings. Just stop suffering in silence. Predatory lending and crushing debt. Look. Exodus 22 and 25. If you lend money to any of my people, you shall not exact interest from them. But Babylon runs off the Talmud. Okay. Babylon runs off the Talmud. This is why this is so important. Proverbs 18 and 10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. You have to look. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and as an high wall in his own conceit. Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. Okay, so we are living in a completely different bracket when it comes to Esau and the rich man. So they think that they're right now in a good case because of their commodities, because of their profits, because of their revenue, their gains, their investments. That's all going to burn. Okay, so man. All right. And man and Jake has fallen victim to the love of riches and the want of gains through the aspect of business. And they don't know they've signed a covenant with death. Okay. Payday loans with extreme interest. Look at this. Student loans. You don't even learn nothing. Matter of fact, it says the wisdom. First of all, it says wisdom is better than weapons of war. But what wisdom? Not the wisdom of this world. 1 Corinthians 3. 1 Corinthians 3:19, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High, for it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. And a part of the main craftiness is the New World Order, but the craftiness that Esau hides behind is business law, legalities, the government. Look, because I even looked this up. Give me a list of injustice that is allowed in law and government, but the Bible rebukes and condemns. Look, favoritism toward the rich and the powerful. See? That's why Yahushua said, what, you going to accept this man because of his clothing? You see? But that's how the world operates, okay? Let's see. Oppression of the poor and marginalized. Look at this. Isaiah 10. I got Isaiah 10 right here. Isaiah 10:1. Woe to them, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Who they rob? Eve. And who they rob? The children that are produced from her. And the man is taken away from the curses, guns, drugs, the judicial system, trying to be successful, you name it. So then he sits there, he gives you subsidized housing, he gives you a monthly check for food, for this, for shelter, all in the essence to destroy you through his unrighteous decrees. The big beautiful bill BBB is also unrighteous decree. When they finally push into law, even though the MOTB under the coin name VeraChip has been approved by the FDA, you have to understand that will be an unrighteous decree that will be allowed to be pushed into law. But it's prophecy, though. But it's prophecy. Look, legal exploitation, payday loans, exploitive labor practices, legal loopholes for underpaying workers. See? Proverbs 22:22, do not exploit the poor because they are poor, and do not crush the needy in court. Ooh, see? But he this is what his power is, brothers and sisters. What we are looking at is an insight to Babylon's business and the bad business that it's been doing for centuries. You have to understand that. Look, corruption, bribery. People get killed for bringing this out, you know? Neglect for refugee, legalizing justice towards prisoners. There's so much, though. There's so much I want to keep talking about. Let me see. Oh, dishonest weights and measures. Why do they call it a dollar? Why do they call it a dollar? Is a dollar a weight? Look at this. Look. What is a dollar? Look. As a result, the United States dollar was defined as a unit of per silver. Yeah. Did you know back in the day, you could buy an ounce of silver for $1? And now today, I think you need anywhere from $27 to $33 to buy now an ounce of silver. So one should invest in silver right now because the dollar is dwindling. You want to invest in what they call brick and mortar. Brick and mortar is physical stock. I'm into stock, but I'm not buying stock that's digital right now. But if I can afford it, I will buy brick and mortar stock, which is like silver or gold. But right now, I can only afford silver. So one, it would be behoove you to buy into that. Let me ask this. What is the definition? That's why they call it fiat currency. Fiat meaning accepted by the government. What is the definition of a dollar? All right, right here. Relax. Severe. All right, I got to delete some stuff. Let's go here. The basic monetary unit of U.S., Canada, Australia, certain country. I don't like that. Definition is the dollar is is a weight. Let me put online. There we go. Let's look this up. Or like a gallon. A gallon of what? A dollar of what? Okay. Let's go to here. Monetary. What else? Literally coined from silver, dollar, less than, I'm just looking, piece of 8, coin, I'm just looking. If I'm not mistaken, a dollar is equivalent to weight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's why they changed it to monetary unit, because it went back to coin. I'll look it up later. I want to continue to keep going, but you can look it up in your spare time. But this is another thing how Esau gets over on the public of people as well. So, piece of 8 or a piece of weight. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's see what else we got. environmental exploitation. Let's see what else. Corruption, bribery. See, we got Isaiah 10. Okay, look, Micah 6 and 11, NIV. Shall I acquit someone with dishonest scales? Going back to money, unmeasured weights, just like the dollar. The dollar is actually not even real money. Okay, there's like, you can't buy and sell on the Sabbath. The dollar ain't even money. The dollar isn't even money. What do you mean you can't buy and sell and sell? The dollar isn't even real money. Okay, it's a piece of paper. All right, see? You got to understand. Let me see what else we got in here. Now let's go for now. Let's get some precepts. What do we got? We got Proverbs. Luke, what did I want in this? Oh, yes. Luke 2 and 49. And he said, let's get red letter. And he said unto them, how is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my Father's business? See, we don't have the spirit to sell out to Esau's business, to Satan's business, to Babylon's business. We are about our Father's business. And you see that business conducted amongst the brotherhood, amongst the body, amongst the camp. So you are to conduct yourself in a very professional manner, okay, because we are serving the Father. And that's the business that's going to stand. That business ain't going to be liquidated. That business isn't going to get sued. That business isn't going to be robbed. Okay, see, we are actually in the best position when it comes to the world of business. You know, unlike these people, unlike Jake. And I see it firsthand. When I deal with Jake in business and I see how they operate, I say, you one of them wicked niggas back in the day that was getting rebuked. You one of them wicked evil ones that Habakkuk had to rebuke, but now we have to use this for Esau. Habakkuk 1 and 4 again. Therefore, the law is slacked. See, this is these niggas, man. Okay, back in the day. It says, therefore, the law is slacked. And I'm going to get into James 5. And it says, and judgment does never go forth, because we have laws that you got to pay. So even Jake back then wasn't paying the always on time. You were supposed to pay me that day, Jack, but you got to wait 2 weeks. What you mean I got to wait 2 weeks? You got to wait a week. What you mean I got to wait a week? I did my work today. And then you mean to tell me I'm doing all this work for $20 fucking dollars? And then it's not even $20 because they get their tax out of it. But then you remember Yahweh Shai said, render unto Caesar, which is Caesar. And then that leads you to say, thank you for giving my daily bread. And then you learn how to be content. See how powerful this is? And we understand it. And we know that there's certain other things and aspects, how it plays out. But we are applying the Father's business, except trying to go head to head with Esau and his corporate America, like people like P. Diddy, Martin Lawrence, all them. You see? Nah, we're not trying to get our vengeance in Babylon. The vengeance is the Lord. And it says, for the wicked does compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceeded. That Esau did it, and we've seen Jake do it. But now we're on Esau and Jake. But we're using this for Esau in a marginalized scale, as they would say. So now from there, let me see what else I got for you. I'm trying to speed through this. It's nice. This is good. This is good knowledge to have. Romans 12 and 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourself. Exactly. So I'll say this for brothers, even you few sisters, but you should have a husband. Everybody's situation is different, so I get it. But look, you go into work, you got some situations that's dealing with Babylon, dealing with the matrix, dealing with legalities. Don't be ignorant to it. Okay. If you got something going on, make sure that yourself is represented correctly, so they're not just getting over on you because of your ignorance. And then once you find out you got these rights, you got that, you're using the world, you're not abusing it. Even Apostle Paul had to use his Roman citizenship at times. Okay, then this is now lead you not to be carnal. Now you conduct yourself more wisely. You're about the Father's business. It also says that we are ambassadors of Hamashiach, so we are representing Yahweh Shai Shai while we're here on earth, while also not causing the ministry to get blamed. So carry and conduct yourself professionally, okay? And then what you'll see is they can't handle when you are professional. They can't handle when you don't act like you're under the curses. I've seen it firsthand. They crack, they break. Okay. Avenge not yourself, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance, see, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. So for brothers and sisters out there, hey, conduct yourself in a wise manner. All right. Because the Lord is already going to take care of them. Okay, the Lord is going to handle this. Let me go to NLT real quick. Let's go to the law. Leviticus 19 and 35. Do not use dishonest standards with measuring length, weight, or volume. And Esau does that. He will downsize, he will downgrade. Okay, this is why he gives you a warranty. Why are you giving me a warranty? You can't guarantee it's going to work the first time, and then he'll sell you something, and then he knows after a certain amount of miles it'll break down. But the Bible condemns that. Okay, your scales and weights must be accurate, right? Your containers for measuring dry materials or liquids must be accurate. Yeah, you can't be selling like Esau sell you something and half the damn product is air. Now I understand what he sells. You may need a certain amount of this and a certain amount of that, but he gets away with that. He'll downsize. I don't eat them. He'll downsize chips and fill it up more with this. Then he's got inflation. So this dude is a criminal, man. This dude is the number one lawbreaker out here. He's a number one lawbreaker, man. I am the Lord your power who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. Right. So if you're selling a product, you should not be giving it inaccurate weights. If somebody paid for a pound, you give them a pound. Remember years ago, you had this dude, he weighed the quarter pounder, and it found out it wasn't a quarter pound. Not that you should be eating it. Man weighs a quarter. This is biblical. Quarter pounder, but in Amsterdam they call it a Royale with cheese. Man weighs a quarter pounder, and it doesn't weigh a quarter pound. Let's look this up. A McDonald's quarter pounder is named so because the uncooked beef patty weighs a quarter pound, right? However, after cooking, the patty typically weighs less. How? Okay, this is due to blah, 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 blah. You could be sued for that, though, Jack. All right, now let's go to images. Quarter pounder does it. So people actually did studies. I want the one where the dude actually pulled out the weight. Yeah, see, look. See? So people actually weighed it, but that's against the scriptures. You're selling a quarter pounder and it don't weigh a quarter pounder. That's illegitimate business practices. See? You're supposed to be just weight. People are supposed to get what they paid for. Our law is to pay you exactly what we're supposed to. We're not supposed to short you. You're not supposed to get shorted. See that? These laws, ain't the laws beautiful? And we're going to teach people that, okay? If you pay for a yard, you're going to get a yard. Do not do dishonest standards. Measures, length, right? Like I used to be a carpenter. I used to do general labor. A 2x4 is not a 2x4 anymore. Did you know that? Let's look that up. Is a 2x4 really a 2x4? Let's see what they say. Look at this. 1914, this was a 2x4. 1916, this is a 2x4. Now in today's time, look at your 2x4. This is completely against the laws. See? And this is why the earth is defiled. Something simple as lumber? Something as simple as lumber? Damn, dude. Let me see. Verse 37. You must be careful to keep all my decrees and regulations by putting them into practice. I am the Lord. See? But then you got Amalek who will take these statutes, mix it with the Talmud, and create improper practices. James 5. Look at this. James 5:1 now. Sum it all up. Okay. I had to sum it all up. Got more to say, but I'm just going to leave it here. James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men. Weep and howl for your misery that has come upon you. Exactly. You rich, evil, wicked, wretched men. But this is why the scriptures say the Most High chose the poor of this world rich in faith. Okay. So don't be fretting at these rich Edomites. Don't be fretting at these so-called rich people. Okay. I'm around them. I see them. We're around. We know them. We talk to them. And they ain't about shit real. They're just hiding behind asset investments, logos, and legalities. Okay. Trademarks, copyrights, patents. Okay, that's the only reason why Esau's got an advantage on us is he's created a system that he has protected to make you ignorant of. And once you learn that, oh, it's a problem. And once you learn how to copyright your own books or follow a PPA application and create your own invention, it's over. That's why he created a patent. All those Jake inventions, and look what Esau did. But did you patent it though? See? So be careful. And the world The business aspect of Babylon is treacherous. Okay. Your riches are corrupted. Yeah, because the dollar ain't worth shit. All right. Which a dollar goes back to a weight. All right. Let me put that in real quick. I wanted to say what I said. Is the dollar a weight? Let me see. Yeah, it's a unit, all right, which is a weight. See? So wait a minute. The dollar is defined as a unit of silver. Why are we getting a Federal Reserve note? Wait a minute. If the definition for the United States dollar was defined as a unit of pure silver, why the hell are you getting a Federal Reserve note? See? People ain't thinking. See? They not thinking, man. They not thinking. Anyways, we still use this corruptible shit because it's Caesar's. So we render it unto him because the original dollar was it wasn't a Federal Reserve note. It was a silver certificate. Look, let me show you that. Silver. Let me show you you know what a silver certificate looks like? I bet you don't. I bet you what? Let me see. Look, this is a silver certificate. What is a silver certificate? It's literally what you call a dollar today. What? You mean to tell me that this dollar that I have was actually a certificate at one point in time? Yes, it actually was. I actually have one of these right here. All right. Because I was working as a merchant and I found it. So I kept it. The United States silver certificate, but now for some reason it's called a Federal Reserve. Now, that's for a whole nother lesson. We're not even going to go into it, but this is why it says, woe to them. For your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. That's what the nukes are going to do. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days, O rich man that fared sumptuously every day. But watch, word Lazarus. That was a parable. All right. Behold, the hire of laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you, kept back by fraud. Taxes. We got what was it? Taxes to Social Security. It goes on and on. Babylon went to war with its mother over taxes, and now look what he's doing to you. Okay. But see, we understand what's going on. We understand what we got to do. We got to wait. Other people that are experiencing this is why they're crashing out. This is why they're lamenting, because they believed in the image of Babylon when it came to business as a form of success for them personally. And they didn't realize they were hired to create millions for the rich man and not the rich man to allow them to get millions for themselves. People have no idea what they're involved in when it comes to Babylon and business. It says, and the cries of them which have reaped down are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. That's right. And I cried to the Lord. And this is why in the spirit, I started looking into business and the logistics of it per se, not going too deep because we got the scriptures. But just the jargon of it. Okay. And just learning certain rights that I have as a self-contractor or as a hired laborer or just as an employee, depending on my state, depending on OSHA standards. And then you find out, oh shit, as you keep yelling at me for just being 3 minutes late, I found out that you technically are in violation of OSHA because you haven't given me an adequate clear space to clock in properly in unsafe measures. See? You see? See? So these people are low level, man. All right. We know their precepts too. It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and have been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the days of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. Right. We don't resist you. We work for you. We do your business for you. We build for you. We cook for you. We clean for you. We labor for you. And you still kill us. See, this is why we're waiting to be delivered out of this condition, man. Okay, and that time is coming. So let me end it off on this. Recompense is coming. This is Second Thessalonians. Yeah, this is Second Thessalonians. Yes, this is Second Thessalonians 1:7. And to you who are troubled, rest with us. So you don't need to keep suffering silently, man. Okay, when the Lord Yahweh Shai shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels in a flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not Yahweh and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, is said. So they're getting ready to be judged, man. Okay, they're getting ready to be judged for what they have done. All right, legally. All right, biblically, they're getting ready to be judged. Now, just out of curiosity, I got to see, what does Proverbs 22:16 say? Proverbs 22. And 6, see, life and conduct. Yep. We read this in a different version. Rob not the poor because he is poor, but that's Esau's tactics. He relies on you being poor so he can take advantage of you. Neither oppress the afflicted in the court or in the gate, which ancient times a court would have been the gate. Now, one more, and guess what? We can't even marvel at this wickedness because we know that this was supposed to happen. Let's try this in the NLT just to read it in a simplified form. Ecclesiasticus 5 and 8, it says, do not be surprised if you see a poor person being oppressed by the powerful, and if justice is being miscarried throughout the land, for every official is under orders from higher ups, and matters of justice get lost in red tape and bureaucracy. This is why Jake doesn't understand. Yes, police are wicked, but they're also following orders. Okay. You have to understand when it comes to business is one thing that I learned. One thing that I will tell you that I'm learning, okay, is that a lot of times you have people that are hired to do shit that ain't right to you, because if they don't, they will get fired, and he will hire someone else to do the same shit to you, but for a lesser price. You have to understand that. This is why they tell you it's not personal, it's business. In business, you cannot be emotional and you cannot take it personal. This is how business works. Just like the elect and the 2/3, it's business. There is a predestinated that was set up to be the 144,000. It was predestinated for the innumerable 1/3 to consist here on earth. It's business. It's business, and we're learning it. Okay. It says, even the king's milk, the land for his own profit. Those who love money will never have enough. How meaninglessly to think that wealth brings true happiness. And our true happiness is coming through the character building in the spirit of a servant while serving Yahweh Shemel Shai and working as a diligent, sincere servant or laborer in the Father's business. That's what we're doing. We're not like these other Israelites trying to make a profit off the truth. What we are doing in the spirit is learning what we need to learn, how to conduct or carry ourselves while we're out in the populace of people in a righteous manner, while witnessing wicked, illegitimate practices play out and understanding why the Lord's going to judge them and how the Lord's going to judge them. So we're seeing everything in real time. So we are showing right now what the kingdom is by conducting ourselves with honesty and sincerity amongst our brothers, amongst the body, amongst man. Okay. I don't having a business. I don't shortchange no heathen because they're a heathen. In a business, you can sell to Jake and sell to heathen. I don't mean you gotta necessarily get over on one. Can certain things play out differently depending on preferences of what you're involved in? Absolutely. But we don't handle business the way Esau does, is ultimately what I'm getting at. So 1 Thessalonians 1 and 8, in flaming fire taking vengeance on them that know not Yahweh and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. See, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power. So at the end of the day, we are resting with Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay, so the bad business of Babylon is exposed. And not only the business is exposed, the wickedness, the treachery, the evil, the debauchery. This is why the prophecies have already laid out what judgment would befall this evil businessman in Babylon, Edom. And Jake, these Jakes that are out here in Babylon, they're wicked too, man. I've watched Jake be wicked when it comes to business too. So it's across the board. All right. But the Lord is going to bring justice. Justice will prevail. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm getting ready for the Sabbath. So I pray that you brothers and you very few sincere sisters was edified. You were enlightened. You were comforted, and you were fed ultimately as Yahweh Shai sheep. So with that being said, I'm just going to say, call halal, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that being said, Shalom.